Sorry, I'm probably gonna pass gas with these two.
That's fine. Oh, okay. So tell me about the night. Was this the first person that you did this to?
That I tried. Well, there were other people that I've done it to who didn't die. He's the first one who died.
Right.
Back here.
But there's some other
People who didn't die.
Right. Okay. So was this your first attempt at overdosing these people on insulin?
Yes.
What you're about to witness is the complete, unedited confession of Elizabeth Wetlaufer, a registered nurse who murdered 8 elderly patients and attempted to kill at least 6 others between 2007 and 2016. This is her actual police interrogation, recorded on October 5, 2016, at the Woodstock Police Service in Ontario, Canada. For nearly a decade, Wetlaufer injected her patients with fatal doses of insulin. She heard voices. She believed God wanted her to kill, and when she finally confessed, she provided detectives with a handwritten document listing every victim by name. This documentary contains the real interrogation footage and transcript. Every word you'll hear is what was actually said in that room. This is created to inform, to educate about the warning signs of healthcare serial killers, and to honor the memory of those who lost their lives. This is Elizabeth Wetlaufer's full confession. Let's begin.
First off, today is Wednesday, October the 5th, 2016, and on my phone right now, I'll just use that as a time reference, it's 5:14.
Okay.
So 17:14. My name is Nathan Hergott with the Woodstock Police Service. I currently work in our crime unit.
Okay.
And we met a short time ago in downtown Toronto, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We met with Dr. Khan and his team of associates, and I believe you were under his care for the last little while, correct?
Yep.
To make it clear for whoever might watch this in the future, we didn't force you to come with us. We didn't, shove you in the car and off we went kind of thing. You did it on your own free will, and you accepted it on your own decision making. Is that correct?
Yep.
Based on our investigation, there could be some pretty serious criminal charges that result of our investigation. Okay.
Yeah.
So having said that, if you wish to speak to a lawyer at any time,
Okay.
I don't want you to hesitate. We can make it happen whenever you like. You may be charged with many criminal offenses, and you don't have to say anything in answer to the charges that you face. But if you wish to do so, we're going to do that today. But whatever you do say could be used in court. And I know we had that conversation in the car on the way. You are not under arrest right now.
Okay.
Okay, I want to make that very clear to you.
Okay.
Okay, you're not under arrest. The door is unlocked. Okay, I'm not impeding your way to the door. If you want to leave at any time, if you want to stop talking to me at any time, you just let me know, and we'll just carry on from there.
Okay.
Okay, but you're not being held here against your will.
I want to get through this and find out what happened to my mom and dad, because I know they're upset. They're here, we're concerned, what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. Okay.
You should have bought blue tickets while you were there.
You know what? If I could afford them for the playoffs, I probably would have. Yeah, that was exciting last night. So just for the record, and I know you prefer to go by Beth, is what you told us, is that correct?
Yes.
Can you just state your full name for me?
Elizabeth Tracy May Wetlaufer.
I've watched your statement that you provided to Toronto.
Okay.
Okay, and we've been provided this document here. Does that look familiar to you?
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
All right, and from what I can see here, there's 4 pages of a handwritten document. Is that your handwriting?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and it just kind of goes through some people that you've encountered in your career from 2007 through to 2016 of August.
Yeah.
August of 2016. Okay, so that's kind of the focus of our investigation right now is the information that you've put on these 4 pieces of paper.
Yes.
Okay, but before we get into that, I just want to kind of get an idea of your career and where you've been in your career and kind of how you got into things and.
Registered nurse. I started from here in Park Secondary School. I graduated grade 13, went for a year of journalism school.
Okay.
And Then went to Bible College, London Baptist Bible College in London. Graduated with a degree in counseling, with a bachelor's degree in counseling. And then discovered that that's not wasn't really gonna get me a lot as far as work-wise and career-wise, and so I went back to Huron Park High School for a year, and I took a year of math and sciences, and went on to Conestoga College, it's in Kitchener, but they have Stratford campus, so I went there for the 3 years.
Okay.
And then when I graduated there, I worked in a place called Geraldton,
Okay.
which is 16 hours north of Toronto,
I was gonna say, that's quite a bit north, isn't it?
3 hours north of Thunder Bay.
Yeah, that's way up there.
Yeah. Worked there, couldn't stand the isolation, moved back. Worked for an organization called Christian Horizons here in town in one of their group homes till 2007. At which time my marriage fell apart in February 2007, and I met a woman online,
Okay.
and she decided to move to be with me.
Okay.
So I ended up quitting the job I was at and going to Crescent Care to make a little bit more money because I was the only bread earner.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working at Crescent Care, I believe it was June 2007.
Okay. And how long did you work there for?
Until 2014. Yeah, till I think it was March 2014.
And were you always in the same role, or
As
did you do
a
different roles at Crescent Care? Or?
I was a registered nurse,
Yeah.
and registered nurse's role is always the same.
Yeah.
But I worked in different areas of the home.
Okay.
There's 5 wings to Crescent Care, so I worked in different areas.
Right. Okay. All throughout the 7 or so years that you were there.
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, did you have different supervisors from unit to unit, or
No,
every
there
report
was-
to the same person, or?
There was one supervisor, Helen Crombie, she was the head nurse.
Okay.
And then there was people under her, Shelley, Jeanette, I don't remember the rest of them. Then there was an administrative head. And I think for most of that time it was Brenda.
Right. Okay. And then from Crescent Care, I know you've had a few other.
Yeah, I went from Crescent Care, fired from Crescent Care.
Okay.
For a medication error.
Yeah.
Then from there I went to Meadow Park Nursing Home.
Okay.
And left there to get help with an addiction issue.
Okay.
Hoping that it would get help with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came back, I started working again in January. I left Meadow Park in September of 2014, and I started working for a nursing agency called Lifeguard in 2015, and I worked with them for over a year, and then in July 2016, I started working for St. Elizabeth's Healthcare.
Okay.
As well, I was still working for Lifeguard.
Oh, okay.
Elizabeth Wetlaufer's nursing career spanned nearly a decade, across multiple long-term care facilities in southwestern Ontario. To her colleagues, she appeared dedicated. To families, she seemed compassionate. But beneath this facade, Wetlaufer was struggling with severe addiction to hydromorphone, an opioid painkiller she stole from the very patients she was meant to care for. The addiction, however, was just one part of a far more sinister pattern. Starting in 2007, Wetlaufer began administering lethal doses of insulin to elderly patients under her care. She would later describe hearing voices, what she called a red surge in her chest, followed by demonic laughter after each killing. For nearly 9 years, Nobody caught her, not her supervisors, not the doctors, not the regulatory bodies. 8 people died, and at least 6 others survived her attempts before Wettlaufer finally walked into CAMH, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health in Toronto, and confessed everything. The interrogation you're watching is where she provided detectives with every detail. Let's continue.
When my ex and I broke up in 2007, I was already taking the medication for my borderline personality disorder. And I was so angry. And it was like a voice said inside me, I'll use you, don't worry about it. And the different times that I have caused people's deaths or caused them discomfort through the insulin, I believe it was the influence of that voice or whatever it was. It wasn't a voice in my head, it was a voice in here. And when I would do it, afterwards I would hear like a laughter in my chest. And part of me thought it might be God as a purpose through my life. And I know the doctor asked me those questions, but I didn't answer them because I was so ashamed. But I didn't want this to keep going on, so I quit both jobs. Looked into where I could get help. Dr. Fernando is my psychiatrist, and he's not a very nice man. So I went on an online support group and was talking to people on there, and they were saying, get some help. So then I started researching some psych boards and stuff, and I saw CAMH, and they are the only mental health facility in Ontario that has an emergency department.
Okay.
So I made a decision, and I went there one Friday morning. I took the train, and off I went.
It says here you were working a double shift from 3 till 7, right?
3 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Right. Okay. And this was at Crescent Care?
Yes.
Okay, in Woodstock?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me about your knowledge of James and your daily interactions during a shift with him.
I didn't see him every time. He wasn't always my patient. I just knew from what people had said that he would grab the nurse's breasts and buttocks, and he would say horribly inappropriate things about his wife, that now he was there, he was going to fuck all of she was going to fuck all of Woodstock, and just would say inappropriate things. And he did touch me inappropriately once.
And where was that?
On my
your body?
breast.
On your breast, okay. And were you alone in the room at that point?
Yes.
Okay. Did he have a roommate at all? Did Jim have a roommate?
He must have. He wasn't in a single room. So he was either in a double room or a quadruple room.
Okay. Would you remember any other residents that would be roomed with him at that time? Or?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
That's okay. What portion of the home was James in at this point?
He was in there's an east wing, south wing, north wing. He was in the north wing, about halfway down, and he was either in a double bed or a quadruple bed.
Okay. So tell me about the night. Was this the first person that you did this to?
That I tried. Well, there were other people that I'd done it to who didn't die.
Prior to James?
Prior to James.
So was this your first attempt at overdosing these people on insulin?
Yes.
So James then, it was in the evening that this one took place, right?
About 9:30, I gave him a dose of 50 milligrams of insulin. He's not diabetic. So I used a borrowed insulin pen, borrowed insulin, and gave him an insulin shot. And at 3:30, the PSW, throughout the night he was yelling out, "I love you," and "I'm sorry," and not to me, but just you could hear him calling out in his room, and that's what he was calling out.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 3:30, the PSWs came to me and said that he was gone. So I did what we're supposed to do. I went and listened to his heart and chest, called the doctor, called the family because that's what they wanted. Family came in and sit with him for a while. Doctor came in and said that his cause of death was from an embolism due to his post-hip. He'd had hip surgery.
Okay.
Doctor ruled it embolism due to post-hip surgery.
Who do you think he was talking to when he was yelling out, "I love you"?
I thought it might be his family.
Okay.
I really did. And when they came in and talked to me, they wanted to know if he'd said anything.
Right.
So I told them, and I was so ashamed.
Yeah.
So ashamed. Yeah.
When you were speaking with the family.
Yeah.
And is that the family that kind of commended you for the work that you had done? And
Yes, and that I've been
how much
there
they
for
appreciated
them,
that?
and yes.
How'd that make you feel?
Awful. Absolutely awful.
How did you deal with it?
I just went home, went to bed. You know, I felt awful. Maybe I fought with my girlfriend. Did some exercising, you know.
Yeah.
Played some games on the computer and just tried to forget about it.
James Silcox was 84 years old. He had recently undergone hip surgery and was recovering at Carissant Care nursing home in Woodstock, Ontario. On the night of his death, he was not diabetic, which is crucial to understanding Wetlaufer's method. Insulin, when given to a non-diabetic person in large doses, causes blood sugar to plummet. The victim becomes confused, sweaty, and eventually loses consciousness. For elderly patients with existing health conditions, this can be fatal. And because insulin is a naturally occurring hormone in the body, it's extremely difficult to detect in an autopsy. Wetlaufer chose her victims carefully. She selected non-diabetic patients specifically because their deaths would be less suspicious. She told them she was giving them a vitamin shot, and she would inject them in areas where the injection site would be hard to find during a routine examination. The most chilling part of James Silcox's death is what he said in his final hours. "I love you, and I'm sorry." His family, desperate for comfort, asked Wetlaufer if their father had said anything before he died. She told them, and they thanked her. Let's continue with the second victim.
Maurice. How did you pronounce Maurice's last name?
Grenat.
Is it Grenat? Okay. So tell me a little bit about Maurice. This says that this occurred in September or October of 2007. And this was at Crescent Care?
Yep.
Okay, tell me a little bit about your interaction with Maurice.
He was another one who liked to grab breasts and asses.
Okay.
He was sometimes a patient of mine. One afternoon I was working with him and he did grab me.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I got that feeling inside that this is his time to go. So I gave him an overdose of insulin after supper. And I believe he died the next day.
And what was your shift do you remember what shift
It
you were
was
working at that
3 to
point?
11.
3 p.m.?
Yeah, to 11 p.m.
Till 11 p.m., so like
So
an afternoon shift.
he died when I wasn't there.
Okay. And at what point of the day do you think that you said this already, but just to confirm, what time of the day do you think it was when you had injected him with
When I
insulin?
injected him, it was afternoon. I think it was 4:30, 5:30.
Okay. All right. And what was his reaction to receiving the insulin?
Again, it was just kind of like, oh, okay. I just said, the doctor wants you to have a vitamin shot.
So, being that you weren't there when he had passed away, you wouldn't have been the one checking the boxes.
That's right.
So, do you know, by chance, what nurse would have been responsible for Grenat?
No, I don't.
No?
No.
Okay. Did you ever have any concerns that he didn't pass away while you were working and that, suspicion may arise?
No, I didn't. Well, yes, I did a little bit. I always wondered if they'd find the site where I gave the shot and something, there'd be an investigation. I always wondered that.
Right.
But other than that, no.
And even though it passed through your mind, you just continued on about your duties?
Yep.
Okay. And do you remember what part of the body he would have been injected in?
Maybe the leg. Because at that point he didn't have a lot of body fat, so.
Maurice didn't?
He didn't know. And when you get a subcutaneous injection, it goes in to the body fat, so.
And how did it make you feel when Maurice passed away?
Not good.
And what happened from there?
I wasn't there when he passed away. I didn't work that day.
Do you remember if you worked the next day?
I might have. I know when I found out that he died, I looked to see how long it took, and I read the notes and stuff to see what it got.
Okay.
I'm just getting a point out to fidget with.
Yeah, no problem. Whatever you need. The next person on your list is Helen Matheson.
Yeah.
Okay. Helen was 2011.
Yeah. Helen, I don't remember a lot about. She was very quiet, very determined. just seemed to be waiting to die.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I had that feeling that, you know, this is the one.
Mm-hmm.
And, I made a bit of a fuss about her that night because she was very lucid.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about how much she liked blueberry pie and ice cream.
Okay.
So on my break, I went to Walmart. I got a small blueberry pie and some ice cream
Mm-hmm.
and brought it to her, and she ate 3 or 4 bites.
Nice.
And then that night I overdosed her. 'Cause, like I said, I had that feeling that it was her time to go, and I believe she died the next day.
And it said, I don't know here, the doctor declared her to be palliative, and she died 2 days later. Do you remember where Helen was in Crescent Care?
Yes, she was on the south wing, and probably about 4 doors down from the nurse's station, in a double room on the right-hand side. If you were facing the end, she was on the right-hand side.
You don't say a lot of negative things about Helen here. Did you get along with her okay? Did she ever do anything to harm you, or?
No, she was very quiet. It was just, I got that feeling that this, you know, she's next, it's her time to go.
Once you gave them their insulin,
I tried to stay away from it. Sometimes I was very interested to see what was happening. I would just try to stay away from it.
Okay. Would you ever go back into their rooms while they were still alive to see kind of how they were progressing through the?
If they were my charge, yes, I had to.
What kind of symptoms would they show? Is it different for everyone, or?
Well, usually they'd get very diaphoretic, red. They could lose consciousness. They'd shake. Some people, one person had a seizure.
Helen Matheson's case reveals something deeply disturbing about Wetlaufer's psychology. Unlike some of her other victims, Helen had never harmed Wetlaufer. She hadn't grabbed her. She wasn't combative or difficult. She was simply an elderly woman in a nursing home, waiting peacefully for her life to end naturally. The detail about the blueberry pie is particularly haunting. Wetlaufer went to Walmart on her break, purchased the pie and ice cream that Helen requested, brought it to her, watched her eat a few bites, and then killed her that same night. This wasn't rage. This wasn't revenge for mistreatment. This was something else entirely. Wetlaufer described it as a feeling. The red surge that told her Helen's time to go. And after Helen died, Wetlaufer heard the laughter. Between 2007 and 2011, Wetlaufer killed 4 people: James Silcox, Maurice Granat, Helen Matheson, and Mary Zurawinski. But then, something changed.
So this is where you have a bit of a gap again, from
Yeah.
2011 to 2013 with your successful injections, but there wasn't even any attempt.
No. In November 2011, I came home from a cruise of the Caribbean, and I was feeling guilty. I was feeling damned. I was feeling confused. I was feeling like I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was feeling like if I could somehow connect with God strongly enough that I wouldn't do it anymore. And so I spent a lot of time reading my Bible and praying and deciding I just wasn't going to do it anymore. So I had the odd urge to do it, but I resisted by going to church, reading my Bible, praying, and telling God I didn't believe Him, that He wanted me to do it anymore.
So as far as fighting off that, would you still have that feeling, like that burning feeling?
Sometimes, but I did a lot of praying about it, and I just did a lot of praying, reading my Bible, getting very involved in my faith, getting very involved in my church.
Right. Okay. And obviously, with what you've told us so far, that it helped,
Yeah.
what you've documented.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we need to be aware of that happened in between those times?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I didn't tell anybody or anything like that.
Okay. Mrs. Helen Young.
And she was in the room closest to the nurse's station. Down at the end of the hallway of East Wing is Unit 1 and Unit 2 in the building right on top of each other. Or we'd say, what do you want help with? I want to die. Why can't you help me die? I want to die. And one night, it was like something snapped inside, and that red sturge came back, and I thought, okay, you will die. So, I gave her a shot. I came up to her and said, this is for your pain, and I gave her a shot of long-acting or short-acting, and she started to settle down. And then, later on, we put her into bed, and I gave her more of the insulin. I think it was long-acting. She had a seizure. She turned red. She was diaphoretic. The PSWs called me to the bedside. I took all of her vital signs, and I pretended to take her blood sugar. And said, oh, it's normal. Don't worry about it.
How did you go about that with people beside you?
PSWs focus on, like, they were busy. They were busy washing her. They were busy changing her. They were busy dealing with the fact that she was having diarrhea. They were not doing the part of the job I was doing,
Right.
so they never would have noticed. Where's my burger? So they never would have noticed me not taking the blood sugar. Because I took her, like I did her pulse, I did everything else, so they wouldn't have noticed that I didn't do that because they were busy with everything else.
So being that it had been a few years then, when you injected Mrs. Young and you were successful in causing her death, how did it make you feel after those few years that these urges and these feelings had come back?
I felt horrible. I felt angry at myself. I felt like I had failed myself. I felt like God had failed me.
Did you continue to practice in the church?
I continued going to church, yeah.
Did you believe in it as much as
I did, but I was getting very confused. So it was soon after that I went to the pastor and told him what had happened. And he prayed over me, and because he said that was the last thing he would have thought of me, and his wife was there too, and they prayed over me, and they said to me, now this is God's grace, but if you ever do this again, we will have to turn you into the police.
And where would that conversation have taken place? At the church?
In their house, at their kitchen table. And I kept going to their church.
And how detailed did you get with the conversation?
Oh, I told him that I was taking people's lives by giving them insulin overdoses.
What were you specifically names? How much in
No.
when you were doing this?
No.
How many people?
I don't know if I told him how many people, just that I was doing it. I wanted to stop.
And his response was to pray for you and pray over you.
He put his hands on me and had his foot put his hands on me and pray.
This is a crucial moment in understanding Elizabeth Wetlaufer's culpability. After a 2-year period where she successfully resisted the urges, she killed again. And immediately after killing Helen Young, she confessed to her pastor. Think about what this tells us. Wetlaufer knew what she was doing was wrong. She had the capacity to stop. She proved that during the 2-year break. She sought spiritual guidance from her pastor. She confessed to murder, and her pastor's response was essentially a warning. If you do this again, we'll turn you in. But Wetlaufer didn't stop. Over the next 3 years, she would kill 4 more people and attempt to kill at least 6 others. The pastor's warning, the guilt, the religious struggle, none of it was enough to prevent her from continuing. This undermines any potential defense of insanity or loss of control. Wetlaufer made choices. She resisted for 2 years, then chose to resume killing. She confessed, was warned of consequences, and chose to kill again anyway. Let's continue with her confession about the remaining victims.
So Gladys, so this takes us to November of 2011 at Crescent Care. It says here Gladys was a type 2 diabetic and had dementia.
Severe dementia.
Did she? Yeah. How old do you think Gladys was?
92.
92? Okay. And where was Gladys within Crescent Care?
East wing, 3 doors down from the main desk, in a double room.
Okay. Do you remember her roommates at all?
No.
No. And do you remember how much insulin you gave her?
No, I don't.
Do you remember if it was long or short or a mix?
I probably, at that point, I think I was giving everybody a mix.
And do you remember how much you gave Gladys?
of the insulin.
Mm-hmm.
I think I gave her 80/60. I think.
And her reaction after she kind of pinched and struggled a little bit with you?
She relaxed, and then by the time the next nurse came on, she was red, she was sweating, she was incoherent. Her vital signs were all down.
And how do you know that?
Because I was just leaving when the next nurse came on, and PSWs came to her and said something's going on with Gladys, and she said, "Come with me, we have to go check on Gladys."
And
So,
did you?
yes, I actually helped her move Gladys to the palliative care room.
Okay. And do you
Scared out
remember
of my gourd the whole time that she was going to say it was something I did.
thinking, okay, was she still able to communicate at that point?
No.
March of 2014, this is Marine Victory Aunt Crossing Care.
Yeah.
Tell me about Marine.
Maureen was a handful. She would attack other patients, she would pull their hair, she would hit them, she would pinch them. Eventually, it was decided that she needed a one-on-one staff. So sometimes they would book an extra PSW to be with her. Sometimes someone would come from the outside to be with her. But when one wasn't available, it was the role of the charge nurse. And that was nuts. Sorry. That's just absolutely nuts. So, she just got harder and harder to look after, and when I had to look after her, I got this idea. I thought, I'd started getting the feeling of that surge again. I thought, no, I don't want her to die, but if I could somehow give her enough of a dose to give her a coma, or something to change her brain waves, maybe make her less mobile, harder to handle, hard to handle.
Right.
So, I overdosed her. Yeah, that night she stroked. She had a severe stroke. She went to the hospital, and when she came back, she was there at the nursing home for a few days, and she died. But before she came back from the hospital, I was fired from Crescent Care for medication errors.
So, RPAD, or RTORVAP?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about her.
He was mean. He would grab the nurses and PSWs whenever they were trying to do things for him. He would grab them, he would twist their arms, he would punch them. Very difficult to do care for. And one night I just got that surgery, like, that's it, you need to go.
Had he done something that night?
No, not really, just been his normal self. And he fought the first needle. And then the second needle I got in. And I forgot something about Maureen. I had given her a dose of whatever we dosed her with to calm her down before I ever gave her the insulin. So Art, I gave a large amount of short-acting, a large amount of long-acting in between each other. And then when I left for the night, he was still okay. When I came back the next day and worked, they said that he had had a stroke, severe stroke, and gone to the hospital.
When you were doing this, did you ever speak to these people when you were injecting them?
No.
Would you ever say anything to them?
Not unless they asked me what I was doing, then I'd just say it was a vitamin injection.
But having that, and I know it's documented here a few times, having that feeling of anger and frustration, would you ever...
No.
You would never state anything to vocalize your anger towards that person as you were injecting them?
No, never.
And Art, then, where did you inject him?
His arm and his thigh. And his family was devastated, absolutely devastated.
What was his health like at that point, prior to you injecting him?
Other than dementia, he was fairly strong. He was in a wheelchair, but he was a good eater and he was strong. And
how old was he?
I'm going to say maybe 78.
Okay. And who was his family members?
He had a son named Art, who did stand-up comedy.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah, like, I think it was just like open mic night.
Right.
And then his wife.
Okay. That's it?
That's all I remember. I know he had other, but that's the only ones I remember.
remember if there were other son or daughters, or just other family members that you could recall?
There were other family members involved, but I don't recall.
Okay. Did you ever have any interaction with his family? I mean, you said they were devastated. When did you learn of that? How did you know
Oh,
of
they
that?
came in to take stuff out of his room.
Following his death?
Well, he was still in the hospital. They came in to take some stuff, and then when he was gone, they came in to take the rest.
Okay. How did you feel having a conversation with him?
Awful. Again, like I betrayed them.
You have a portion on the 4th page here entitled People Who Didn't Die. What can you tell me about?
Okay, Clotilde Adriano. She
Okay.
was the first person I ever gave extra insulin to.
Okay.
I think I gave her 40, and I just, again, there was that searching, but it wasn't so much that I wanted her to die, it was more let's see what happens. And I did that to her on more than one occasion. Then there was Wayne. He was on the nurse wing. He had dementia. He was diabetic. He could be uncooperative, and I gave him a large overdose because I thought it was his turn to go.
All right. And Mike with Huntington's disease?
That was 2009.
What is that disease?
It robs you of your body and you still have your mind. You get progressively more agitated, you get progressively more psychotic, and you're in a wheelchair and you've got all these movements that you can't control. It's a horrible disease.
And how old was Mike?
He was 54, and again, one night I just felt that searching and I thought, now this must be God because this man is not enjoying his life at all. So I gave him a large amount of insulin. I think I gave him 90 total.
This takes us to a different location in Telford Place in Paris. That's obviously Paris, Ontario, correct?
Yeah,
Outside of kind of Brantford, Woodstock area.
2016 winter.
Okay, and that was Sandra?
Yeah, and
How old was Sandra?
Sandra, I think she was in her 70s.
Okay. And Telford Place, what was the breakup of the rooms there? Where was she located within Telford Place?
She was down the wing, straight down from the nurse's desk, about 2 doors on the left.
Okay.
And she had 3 roommates.
Okay. And she described her a little bit of personality and her
Tall, not very well. She didn't walk anymore. She had a good sense of humor. She often said she didn't want to be there. And so one night I gave her an insulin overdose. But she survived because the nurse that came on next went to check on her to do something else and noticed that she was sweaty and took her blood sugar and saved her life. She survived. She was fine the next day.
Did you go see her the next day?
No, but I was able to check it on my computer because she was seen every day by a nurse.
Okay.
So I could go into the tablets from work and see how she was.
Okay. And that was just a computer program used by St. Elizabeth?
Yes,
I see.
on their own tablet.
Okay. In August of 2016 then with Beverly, you don't remember Beverly's last name?
No, I don't. And I don't even remember if her first name was Beverly.
Oh, okay.
I could probably, I don't know if I could tell you the weekend it was or not.
But she lived in Ingersoll?
Yes.
Did she live in a home or?
Yeah, in a home, like
her own residence, I mean, or?
But when I checked the next day to see how she was through the next nurse, there was no change.
These attempted murders reveal the extent of Wettlaufer's crimes. 8 people died, but at least 6 others survived her attacks. Some were found by other nurses in time and given glucose to counteract the insulin. Others, like Michael with Huntington's disease, somehow survived despite massive overdoses. What's particularly chilling is Wettlaufer's admission that she would check on these patients the next day. She would log into the computer system to see if they had died. She was monitoring the results of her attempted murders like experiments. The case of Sandra is especially disturbing because it happened in August 2016. Just weeks before Vettlaufer finally confessed, she injected 180 units of insulin, including 60 units, directly into a PICC line that went straight to Sandra's heart. The fact that Sandra survived was nothing short of miraculous. By this point, Vettlaufer was spiraling. The addiction to hydromorphone was severe, the guilt was overwhelming, and she was beginning to realize that the voices, the red surge, the laughter, none of it was from God.
How old was she?
She was 63, 64.
And what was her diagnosis as far as her health?
She was diabetic and she had large ulcers on her leg. And she also had a severe infection.
How does that make you feel going through all that?
Awful.
Do you feel like there's a burden lifted off your shoulders?
Yes, I've done the right thing.
Do you feel there's a sense of relief?
Yes. And now I know that it wasn't God. And I'm ashamed of myself that happened, but I also think that it was mental health. You know, I think it was, I wasn't in my right mind. Or I would have been able to tell. I mean, I was raised to believe in God. I was raised from a baby to go to Sunday school, so how could I get such a strong feeling that this is what God wanted, unless it was something wrong in my head?
I know we've talked about what you would say to the families and so on and so forth, but again, I feel terrible for the people that are going to find out in the days and weeks to come about what actually happened to their loved ones, right?
I do. I feel horrible. If there was ever anything I could do so that nobody did this again, I'd do it.
Just a few other things to cover off then.
Okay.
The things that some of these people would do to you, the hitting, the pinching, the grabbing of your breasts, would you ever report that?
Yeah, but yeah, it was always reported and charged on.
And that's just documented on their charts?
Yes.
Okay. And was there any, there's obviously never, not obviously, but was there ever any charges or criminal matters that came of any of this at all?
No. That's part of working in the nursing home. That's just what they do. Might even be your fault, dear.
Yeah, you said that.
Mrs. Conbeck.
Yeah. Do you think that might have played a role in your actions?
No.
Maureen, your ex. What was Maureen last name? When was the last time you talked to her?
I think about, 4 years ago when she wanted money to move back.
Oh,
We were only together for a year.
okay. So she came here from,
Yeah, and brought her 2 kids.
okay. The teenage kid.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned in your Toronto statement.
Yeah, we got involved with CVS with them.
Mm-hmm. When they were here.
Mm-hmm.
Have you, this document that you prepared, Beth, and I know that you had stated the reason why, I guess we call it the breaking point of why you stopped,
Yeah.
was the possibility that you were going to have to be dealing with kids,
Yes, that's right.
right?
Yeah.
Is there anyone else within your career path that isn't listed on these 4 documents, or these 4 pieces of paper, that you'd be responsible for their deaths?
No, absolutely not.
And if we were to tell you that we've come across some fairly significant or suspicious deaths at other nursing homes,
Where it's in,
right, what would you say to that?
I'd say it wasn't me.
So there's no one else involved
No.
that fell victim to your actions?
No.
Just
first person I ever disclosed it to was, another girlfriend at the time. Her name was, that was after I killed a couple of people, and, she told me not to do it again or she was gonna turn me into the police.
When was that, sir?
I couldn't tell you, 2008, I think. And then, 2011, when I decided to stop killing, my friend, I told her what I'd been doing and that I had stopped. And then, I told my pastor. And then after that, I told in 2014, after Art passed away, I went on a holiday, and that's when I really decided that this had to stop. And so I told a friend who lives in BC. Then I told, when I came back, I got advice from a lawyer. And then while I was in Toronto, while I was in CAMH, well, I told my friend, before everyone, I told my cousin, I told my friend, and I told my friend, and then while I was in CAMH, I told someone who I thought was a friend. They turned around and called the police to make sure that it had really been dealt with. And I understand that he thought he was doing the right thing. I understand that, but he had said, oh, I won't tell anybody, and I was using him as a resource for support, and he turned around and
Right.
when I'd already, I'd already shared it, so why would he call the police?
So why do you think that none of these people confronted police?
Maybe they didn't believe me. I don't know. Maybe they just...
Elizabeth Wetlaufer's decision to confess was both self-serving and, in a twisted way, considerate. She was breaking down mentally. The guilt was consuming her. The voices and the red surge were no longer giving her any sense of purpose or release. They were just torturing her. But her decision to provide names and details also spared countless families from unnecessary investigation. Without her confession, police would have had to exhume bodies, investigate every death that occurred during her employment, and put dozens or even hundreds of families through the trauma of wondering if their loved one had been murdered. Wetlaufer's confession was detailed, methodical, and largely consistent. She remembered doses, times, locations, and reactions. This wasn't the confession of someone in a psychotic break or unable to distinguish right from wrong. This was someone who understood exactly what she had done and was now facing the consequences. The interrogation continued for hours. Detective Aiden was patient, thorough, and professional throughout. Let's continue with the final segments.
These are a bunch of random questions, just all thrown together here. The insulin they used, the short acting, the long acting, was there an actual brand or a make of the insulin that you would use?
Might have been Novulin.
Okay.
Might have been Lenovo. Can't remember the other one.
Are your parents, are you close with your parents? Like, what type of
Very
relationship
close.
do you have with them?
Very, very close. I have to tell them tonight what's happened.
With mom and dad?
Yes, they know that I've been in the hospital, but I just told them it was for treatment. But yeah, they're gonna be devastated.
What do you?
I'm gonna plan on staying the night there.
As I said at the beginning, you're not under arrest.
Okay.
But as you can imagine, an
I will be.
investigation like this
Yeah.
is something that we've never dealt with. It's something that doesn't happen very often. It's
Okay.
something that you rarely hear about,
Right.
okay? I don't know of many, but you're not the first person to do this,
Right.
okay? Okay. You understand what we just talked about?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's a very unique situation, right?
Yes.
Where
I'm so thankful.
You confess to certain things,
Yes.
and we have quite a bit of legwork, as you can imagine,
Yes.
to piece this investigation together and see where we go from here.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that will consult in it and determine the final answer of what your fate is,
Okay.
okay?
All right.
But I know that you're aware of the extent of what you've done.
Yes.
I know that you've verbally apologized and spoke about how you feel, and that obviously you can't take it back, but, you know.
I'm relieved that I've confessed it. I feel sorry for the people that are now gonna find out. Sorry doesn't say it.
Yeah.
They should do that, it's all work bigger than sorry.
The interrogation lasted over 3 hours. Elizabeth Wetlaufer confessed to murdering 8 patients and attempting to murder at least 6 others over a 9-year period from 2007 to 2016. In June 2017, Elizabeth Wetlaufer pleaded guilty to 8 counts of first-degree murder, 4 counts of attempted murder, and 2 counts of aggravated assault. She was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole for 25 years, 8 concurrent life sentences. May the victims rest in peace.